Okay, so here's a third question asked by a viewer, and that question is another interesting one with an interesting phrasing. And the question goes, why do people think that our judging function is negative? All right, so we need to unpack that a little bit before we can answer it. First of all, by our judging function is meant the judging function of the INFJ, and by judging function is not really meant TI, it's more FE. Okay, this is not specified in the question, but I intuitively understand that because anyone who is INFJ and has interacted with other people online, particularly online, will have experienced at some point or other other people complaining that INFJ's FE can have a negative effect on social relationships. So why? Usually because it's described as very agreeable and kind of in a fake way, right? So I think that there's two elements to this. The first element is an indictment not just of INFJs, but of the FE function, the usual criticisms according to which FE is inauthentic, FE will do whatever it takes to get agreements and harmony between people. And then there is maybe the more interesting, specifically INFJ thing of maybe people are even more sort of perplexed sometimes by INFJ's FE because you get this unique combination of one of the most personal, subjective, idiosyncratic functions, which is NI, which is, which has underneath it one of the least personal functions, which is FE. So there is a very strong contrast, and I think that's what sometimes can disorient people. But you should always keep in mind that when people criticize FE for being inauthentic, that's just their opinion. That's probably an extrapolation from a negative experience with someone that they think used FE, whereas they may not have used FE. Because, let's be real, someone who is keen to manipulate will benefit from having the FE function well developed. That does not mean that all FE users are manipulative. Most FE users are not manipulative, and FE can be used for influence. FE can be used for deploying a certain kind of charisma, for leadership. The dark arts of manipulation are one of the bad ways FE can be used, in the same way that all the other functions have dark uses, right? But sometimes people tend to think, well, since manipulation is so terrible, and it is, and a lot of people have experienced it, it's quite useful sometimes to find a scapegoat and say that's all the FE function, because then you sort of narrow it down, you pin it down, and you can give it a name, and you can encapsulate it, you isolate it. That's your target, that's what you're going to criticize, that's what you're going to attack. It's just a distortion of thinking. It's not the reality, it's a cognitive bias, and so ultimately it should not disturb you too much. It says more about the other person than it says about you, okay? There's no point criticizing the morality of a function. The morality of how a function is used is relevant, because who is it that uses a function? A person. A person is a subject of moral discourse, not a function. But it's true that INFJs, again, the contrast between the highly idiosyncratic nature of NI and the much less idiosyncratic nature of FE work very well for INFJs, but the contrast can be a little bit disorienting at first to other people, or at least to some other people. Give me a like if you enjoyed this video, guys. Don't forget to support me on Patreon. I could not do it without you. Need you more than ever. The link is below. You get access to cool perks like the Discord server, as well as bonus videos on a topic of your choice every 2 or 3 weeks. And don't forget about my 2 books on the INFJ, the Ecstatic Soul on the INFJ Mind, and the Infinite Soul on INFJ Life in the Modern World. The 2 books are below. Get them if you haven't yet, and I'll talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.